Conqueror's Haki is the ultimate flex in One Piece. It's a clear declaration that you're built different, and only the strongest of the strongest get to obtain it. So, without wasting any time, these are the most legendary Conqueror's Haki moments you'll ever see.
Naze tomeru? 両の頭を砕き割ろうとした。
This wasn't just a battle, it was a war of wills for Dressrosa. Law, pushed to his limit, watched as Luffy stepped up to face the nightmare of the New World. Doflamingo. As the two kings clashed, the very air screamed. Both of them unleashed their Conqueror's Haki, a force that tore through the sky and rattled the entire island. It was a display so raw and untamed, it proved Luffy had the will to take on the most dangerous men alive, and even a surgeon of death like Law could only watch in awe.
사르리아그! ほら見ろ巨人くん。オークションは終わりだな。さて。
The Sabaody archipelago was a powder keg, and Luffy just lit the fuse. He did the unthinkable, punching a celestial dragon, a crime that brings an admiral straight to your doorstep. But just as chaos peaked, a true legend arrived. The Dark King, Silver's Rayleigh, stepped in without a single word. He didn't need to fight. With a look alone, he unleashed a calm, focused blast of Conqueror's Haki, dropping everyone in his path. It was an example of pure, undeniable power, a testament to how a true king flexes.
殺してやる。
Forget what you think you know about power. While most warriors train for years, true legends are born with a spirit so strong, it can break the will of others. This brings us to a forgotten moment from Ace's past. A time before he was a pirate legend, when he was just a kid cornered in the burning gray terminal with his little brother. When a vicious pirate crew pushed him to his limit, Ace snapped. With zero training, he unleashed a massive, unconscious burst of Conqueror's Haki. The raw power was enough to drop every enemy around him instantly, leaving their captain terrified and alone. This wasn't just a move, it was proof that Ace was a king in the making, long before anyone knew it. When it comes to the ultimate display of Conqueror's Haki, nothing beats the legendary clash between Gol D. Roger and Whitebeard. This was a confrontation between two titans at the very peak of their power. The moment their blades swung, the air itself seemed to shatter. Their weapons never even made contact. Instead, the incredible force of their combined wills collided, creating a shockwave of energy that ripped the very landscape apart. It wasn't a show of physical strength. It was the raw, untamed power of two kings battling with their souls. To this day, that moment is considered one of the most incredible displays of what Conqueror's Haki can truly achieve in the hands of a legend. Their presence was so monumental that the entire world had to bend and make way for their power. There are moments that define a legend, and this is one of them. Just as Wano was finally recovering from a brutal war, Admiral Ryokugyu arrived to assert the Marines' dominance. The situation looked hopeless for the remaining samurai and pirates, but then everything changed. Before Ryokugyu could take a single step, the entire island was blanketed in a suffocating wave of Conqueror's Haki. This wasn't a close-range attack. Shanks was still miles away on his ship. The blast of pure will ripped through the air, piercing the forests and mountains until it found its target. In a flash, it forced the Admiral to retreat, leaving him bruised and humiliated. The fight between Luffy and Katakuri was more than a battle. It was a true test of kings. As Luffy pushed past his limits, Katakuri, Big Mom's unbeatable commander, met him with a will as powerful as his own. The moment their auras collided, their kingly shockwaves slammed into each other, shaking the very foundations of the mirror world. With Katakuri's own siblings watching, both men had the same thought: eliminate the distractions. In a synchronized burst of Conqueror's Haki, they knocked out everyone else around them. That clash had a level of respect that had never been seen before. Katakuri, who had always looked down on his challengers, saw Luffy not as a rival, but as an equal. Their Haki was so powerful it felt like the very space around them was bending under the pressure. That was the moment Luffy proved he belonged in the same ring as the New World's strongest. Let's talk about Yamato. While characters like Luffy and Katakuri had to earn their power through years of battle, Yamato was born with the fire of a king already burning within her. As a child, she was fearless, looking up to Odin even in a place where merely speaking his name was forbidden. We'll flash back to Onigashima, where young Yamato's only crime was dreaming too big. But when Kaido's men tried to shut her down, she refused to be silenced. In a moment of pure, raw emotion, she unleashed a torrent of Conqueror's Haki, wiping them all out cold. Unlike others, Yamato's Haki isn't like a lightning strike. Most users simply blast their enemies away with a shockwave, but hers is different. It's heavy, like Gravity itself is crushing you. Instead of throwing you back, it drags you to the ground. That was the moment Yamato realized she wasn't just Kaido's child, she was her own person, a conqueror in her own right.
Oi, Kaido! そいつはうちの船長だ。キック、急投流、アシュラ。
The rooftop battle in Wano was a true test for the worst generation, pushing them to their absolute limits against two emperors. But as Kaido and Big Mom overwhelmed them, Zoro showed the world that he too possesses the will of a king. In a desperate moment with his crew's survival on the line, Zoro unleashed Asura, a new technique infused with Conqueror's Haki. The slash was so immense it sliced straight through Kaido's attack and shocked the Yonko to his core. This wasn't just a powerful attack, it was the emergence of a true conqueror, a swordsman destined to stand shoulder to shoulder with the greatest fighters in history. While many fight to become a king, Zoro was born with that same spirit. His presence commands respect, and it's a reminder of why he is Luffy's right-hand man. The war at Marineford was a turning point for the entire world. In the middle of the chaos with his brother Ace just moments from execution, Luffy fought his way through admirals and marine forces, driven by pure desperation. In a climactic moment, as Ace's life hung in the balance, a scream of pure rage and despair erupted from Luffy, but it was more than a yell. It was an explosive wave of Conqueror's Haki, a power so great it instantly knocked out countless marines. This wasn't just a random burst of power, it was the birth of a king's will. That single moment announced to everyone, pirates, marines, and the rest of the world, that the future had arrived. With that roar, a power so great it could topple kings made even the admirals stop and take notice. Luffy's determination had officially put him on the world's radar.
赤髪を迎えます。
ケシは下がったろい。
身が持たねえってのは一体。
お前らどうした？
気失ってるだけだい。
すげえ覇気だ。失礼。敵戦につき少々威嚇した。
There's a reason Shanks is a legend, and it's summed up perfectly in his visit to Whitebeard's ship. He arrived not to start a fight, but to deliver a warning about Ace and Blackbeard. Yet his presence alone was a display of pure, kingly power. The moment he stepped onto the deck, his Conqueror's Haki was so immense, it began to crack the ship's timbers. Before he even uttered a single word, dozens of Whitebeard's crew members collapsed, unable to withstand the pressure. This wasn't a deliberate attack, it was a casual stroll from one emperor to another. But that moment reminded everyone that Shanks' power isn't about physical blows. He's a king among kings, and when he shows up, his Haki does all the talking. This is it. the moment that changed everything. The legendary showdown between Luffy and Kaido was a true clash of kings. For the first time, we witnessed Luffy's full mastery of advanced Conqueror's Haki as he coated his fists, finally standing on equal footing with a Yonko. Every punch from Luffy now carried the full weight of his will, a thunderous blow that hit without making contact. Kaido the monster met each attack with a grin and a matching blast of Haki. He had been waiting for a challenger like this his entire life, and Luffy was the one to finally deliver. This wasn't just a fight, it was the final test. With every blow, Luffy was proving he was worthy of a place among the greatest of all time. In that moment, he earned his place alongside legends like Roger and Whitebeard. It was a battle of giants, and Luffy stood as the rising king. And there you have it, the most bone-chilling legendary Haki moments in One Piece. Did I miss your favorite? Let me know which Clash or Conqueror's coding gave you the biggest goosebumps down in the comments. Subscribe to Aniverse Decoded for more deep dives into the Grand Line. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.